all again. For those of you who met me before, hello again. My name is Lou. I'm going to start on time today. We're going to walk through quite a lot of content, how to fill out the FAFSA form. So I want to give everybody plenty of time to ask questions towards the end of the session. So my name is Lou. I'm a certified college funding specialist. So my specialty is college financial planning and also the college funding strategy. And for many years, I worked with HS2 parents and many other parents across the United States to help them to get the maximum college financial aid. And I'm also a financial professional, which means I also take care of retirement planning and the long-term care and in the future, the estate planning. So nice to meet you, all of you online. And I put in the chat box, there is a link. If you could just click that link, if you want to do the form while I'm talking, that's fine too, but you might need a verification from your student or from the parent who set up the account. So that link is there. And before I go into the form, I really want to just give a brief update on what has happened for this year's FAFSA. So FAFSA, in normal years, it starts on October 1st. And this year, because the change and the upgrade or change, and FAFSA form was delayed to December. And then in December, they announced the FAFSA will be available December 31st, 2023. On December 31st, 2023, if you happen to get online trying to fill out the FAFSA form, and you will realize it's not ready. It's a soft launch and it's very much limit for you to go in, even take a look. So the actual starting date, I've been monitoring that every day, and it's about January 7th. That's when you actually can go in the FAFSA website and without a disruption, you should be able to fill out the form successfully, and that's January 7th. So many parents have tried, and in the first trial, and I thought, I feel defeated because I'm quite knowledgeable when it comes to FAFSA, but I have to be honest with you, the whole entire system design is very unfriendly, and it brings you to circles. And it's very unclear what's the steps, even though they have communications, the YouTube videos, but it's not delivered. Some of the things that they wanted to do, and it was actually not delivered. So if you feel defeated, that's okay, because I can assure you many of us feel that way. So the goal today here is kind of help you to navigate through this whole application process. And hopefully that you will be able to complete it without any problem. So anyway, and I hope all the parents here, their students at 12th grade. And if it's not, that's fine too. 12th grade, the form that you need to use is 2024 and the 25 form. And some parents fill out the 2023 and 24. That's incorrect, but don't worry about it. And you need to set up 2 FAFSA accounts. If you haven't done so, you need to do it right away, because that's quite important for you to start. One is for student, the other one is for parent. It could be either parent, it doesn't matter. So you need to set up 2 accounts for FAFSA ID and the password. The tax return to link your income information is the 2022 tax return form. So be very clear, that's the tax return that you need to be ready. For the FAFSA asset, it's the current FAFSA asset. It's whenever you're gonna submit the form. If you're gonna submit the form today, that's gonna be the asset balance as of today. What is your cash, checking, and a saving balance as of today? What is your investment portfolio balance as of today? And what is your net equity value of your investment or rental properties? And what is your business value? It's all as of today. So that's just make it clear. Tax return is 2022. Assets is today. And one change that they made it this year is really brilliant. And previous years, you can only put 10 colleges per application. But this year, you are allowed to one time to put 20 colleges, which is quite a significant change for many of our parents. And I know nowadays, if you apply to 10 colleges, that's kind of not enough. You need to, I think most students apply for at least 20 colleges. So this one is a big improvement in a sense. And many of parents always wanted to know what is the income borderline for getting the federal grant, which is called the Pell Grant. And this year, every year is different. This year, if you're a family of 4 and making up to 50,000 or 52,500 in AGI, you would qualify for the maximum Pell Grant. So that's just a guideline for the parents that wanted to know. I see people already put the question in Q&A. Perfect. If you have any question, don't wait to the end. Just stop putting in. I won't go through the questions, but I will go through the question. Hopefully, I will spend a little bit extra time at the end of it. Go through every single questions, okay? So this year, there were some new terms, and I think I just want you to be familiar with it and don't feel intimidated by those new terms. One of the new terms, it's called a contributor. You see that on the form. Sometimes you're like, what is this? What does that mean? Contributor, because the FAFSA form this year has break into 2 parts. One has to be done by the parent, and the other part has to be done by the student. Let's say if it's a student that initiate the form, the first one that go in, fill out the form, then he or she will invite the parent to come to complete the form. So the parent is the contributor to contribute to finish the form. So if the parent initiate the FAFSA form, then he or she invite the student to complete the form. Then the student is the contributor. So that's just basically FAFSA form requires 2 parts to complete. The first part is initiate, and the second part is contributor. So don't make it too complicated, and it's okay. You just, FAFSA and IRS are linked. I mean, even in the previous years, when we fill out the forms, there is always the IRS data retrieval tool allow us to link the tax return from the IRS website to the FAFSA form. In the previous years, it's so nice and clear because once you linked, if it's agreed, if it's processed, then you know right away because all the income information will be automatically populated. If it's not successful, then you get an opportunity to fill in the form manually. But this year, this has changed. A parent and a student were asked to approve and the consent that this automatically transferring your tax information to the FAFSA form. But the only problem is you don't know if this transfer has been successful or not. You are kind of in the dark. You don't know, but there is no place for you to put any income information. So for me, particularly, because I've done the old way so many times, all of a sudden I have no control because I approved it, I consented, but I don't know what happens. But that approval is almost like a mandatory because if you read it here, you must provide consent and approval to be eligible for federal student aid. What does that mean? If you don't approve, you select decline, basically it means you're not qualified for financial aid, federal financial aid. So it's a very simple given answer. So you just have to approve it and then just let the system kind of link and then just pray that link is successful. My advice to the parents is when you put the information in, before when you fill out the customer, the account information, make sure the name matches with your IRS tax return name. A lot of Chinese parents, for instance, they have their Chinese name. Sometimes they use their English name, sometimes the middle name. Sometimes the first name has a space in the middle. Sometimes first name is combined. You need to be careful. Just don't, show differences. Like look at your tax return. That should be your name, whatever it's on the tax return, because we're linked the IRS information. So just make sure that that happened without any disruption. So this is the other change. And then the third, and the other change that I noticed, which is very inconvenient for a lot of the parents and the students, is after you complete all the forms, the parent and the student, you have no place to download or print a report or whatever you fill out the application. And this has caused a lot of nervousness, because sometimes you don't know if you made a mistake or not, right? Some parents or students, especially, I think parents were more careful when we fill out the form. But a lot of times students, when they do the form, they do it so fast. They could make a mistake not knowing they made a mistake, right? Like yesterday we did the Chinese session. We already know that some students missed the college that they applied for, which is quite important. The one that they really want to go, it should be on the college list, but they forget it. So those are the things you don't know, because you really need to do it slow. And my advice to the parent this year is do it slow but thoroughly. Don't disrupt, don't do it like while you're in some kind of other things. Lock yourself in a room, have a quiet, have your tax return, have every information handy, and then just do it very slowly, because you don't have a place to download any report. System is also kind of not so stable, because since January 7th, I have been getting different kind of response when the form is completed. Recently, the last 2-3 days, you will only get a message saying it's completed. You don't get the DNR number, and it's kind of like a reference number, and you don't get the SAI number, which is the student aid index, which is so important. You should be getting it right away as promised, but no, it's not happening. So this is still the flaws, like with the new FAFSA form. But we're sure they're making improvements, so just have some patience. And the bottom line is, this is a form that you have to complete. So you might as well just work with it, right? To be like too angry about this. So, okay, this is another change. And I wanted to talk about the process flow before we really start opening the form. The process flow is important, and this is what I put together for parents to understand the whole process, okay? So it begins with set up 2 accounts. That's a given. One for student, one for parent. And the student should be the one, it doesn't matter. So one person has to initiate the form. Let's just put student start the form. Once student complete his or her part of the form, he or she need to invite the parent. So then the parent will go in to complete his or her part. And then the form will show completed, which means it's completed and submitted, right? So you complete your form, you submit your form. Now your form is in the FAFSA system to be processed. The latest process date that they are given to a lot of schools and the students in the email is, it will be processed until January 31st, 2024. So once the FAFSA form is processed, student will be able to receive an email and telling them this is processed now. So you can download the report and you can view your SAR. You can find out your SAI, student aid index, from the FAFSA site. You should be able to log in and just, download those forms. And once it's processed and it goes to transmit it to go to the college will receive your FAFSA application form. So the college will pile up and they will prep, and they will, if you are accepted, then they will know that you are accepted. They will put together the financial aid award package. So this whole process is kind of like the whole flow is this way. There is no rush, like, the process time is not what you can control. It's what the system, right? So the student can start the form, the parent can start the form. There is no particular preference, but my personal preference is let the student start first because there is a lot of information about the college and everything. So let them finish first, and then you focus on the financial side. So it's either or, it's fine. So this flow really helps for the parents and the student to understand it. Okay, if you click the link that I give you, you're gonna see this. And if you have an extra computer on the other side, you can turn it on and then try to follow. I try to do slowly so we don't miss anything. So click start a new form if you have never done so, right? Start a new form. And then we'll give you the login and a password page. So put the student's login and the password. And then it will ask for a verification code. It's normally through your cell phone. So you text your verification code, and then you will get the contact information. Just make sure, no need to rush. Just make sure the email is correct, the phone number is correct, the permanent address is correct, and those information are correct. And then you click continue, right? And now you come to a FAFSA site and it says, welcome to the FAFSA form. So you are starting a form as a student. Just make sure that you click student, and then you will go into the form. So the student side of the form has 5 sections, but the last section is signature. So we will say 4 sections plus personal introduction, the information. So it's very simple. It's quite sufficient, and it's not that difficult, the form itself. So this year is quite new. For both parent and student, you are asked what state your residency is and the date you became a legal resident at this state. So for California, you can put in, when was the time that you became the legal resident of California. Trying to stay consistent, like, make sure, don't just make up a number and later on forget about it, right? Like write it down if you're not sure about that number, and just make sure. Here comes the consent and approval for transferring the IRS data. For the student too, remember I said that. So you just click, yes, approve, right? What can you do? You have to approve. So you approve, and then it goes into the first session, which is the personal circumstances. It's very simple, straightforward. Single, most of our students are single, first year in college, and never had a degree yet this year. So it's first year and no. And the student personal circumstances. This is the question that you get all the time. Sometimes parents think, oh, what if he is an independent? Then I don't have to worry about me paying for his college or her college. So in order for the student to claim they're independent, they had to check those boxes. So most of our students are not independent. They are the dependent to the parents, because if you look at those, serving the military, is a veteran and has children and orphan and all that. So most of our students, it's none of the above. And then over here, it's asking about homeless. So most of our students have never been homeless or will not be homeless, right? And this one is asking that, is there any special circumstances the students cannot contact the parents? Nope, they should be able to contact their parents. And this last one is apply for direct unsubsidized loan only. So this is the parent loan. So they are asking that, are the parents unwillingly to provide their information? So I would just put no, because if you put yes, then you need to explain a lot of things, but just put no. And some parents said I would never take a loan. So even doesn't matter. This is not a very important that important as a question. So tell us about the student's parents. So over here, you're going to say whether your parents are married or divorced or separated or widow. So you have an opportunity to provide that information, and then you provide married, most cases. And if it's not married, and then it would ask, do they live together? Maybe they are partners, right? No. And does one parent provide more financial support than the other? So be very careful, because I have parents ask me this question. Does that mean the parent that makes more money should be the person to select here? No, because it's not asking who's making money. It's saying, literally saying, one parent that provide more financial support. So let's say this, if the parents are divorced and the student spent 80% of the time with the mom who makes less money, then it's the mom, right? It's the financial support is provided by one parent more than the other one. So just click yes here. If and then that means you only need to provide one parent information, right? And then this last question is, it's remarried. You don't get this question if you're married, so don't worry about it. So if you're married, and it will pop up with two boxes, right? One is the parent who will fill out the form. So pick up the parent who already have the sign in and a password, and that's the parent information you want to put in this box here, because this is the form. This is the parent gonna fill out is gonna be the contributor to complete the form. So make sure you put the first name, last name, date of birth, social security, email, and make sure that you communicate. The student communicate with you. You let them know what sign in and what email address did you use, and what name that you use. The correct spelling of your Chinese name or name that was spaced or not, so that's important. And once you fill out the form here, and then you just click send invite. You do not need to put the spouse information here. There is no point to send two invitations. You just need to send one invitation, because that's to invite the other parent to finish the form. I hope everybody's follow. I can't see everybody, so just follow, yeah. So up here, it will show you, yes, it's successful, invite sent to this parent. So you know that invitation has gone out, and the student can continue to fill out the form here. And this is a basic information about, male, female, and not Hispanic, or if it's Hispanic, you put it here. And what race. I mean, there is a button here if you prefer not to talk about it. So most students decide what they want to do. It's no difference. I mean, this is nothing. I think it's more for data collection. So put Asian, and then once you click Asian, they will be like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, so you can click whatever. And then continue. Over here, you need to put whether the student is American or green card holder. So if it's American, you don't need to provide any information. So if it's a green card holder, over here, it's where you enter the alien number. It should be on your green card. In the middle, there is a number there. It's an alien number. So make sure that you put in without the dash, just the number, and it will let you go. Sometimes if you put too many, like a dash or something, it won't have enough space. And then you click continue, and there will be the parent education status. This is something that they add one more here. So never attend college is one thing, and then both complete college is another one. And don't know, I mean, it's fine if you put don't know. I mean, some students don't know. And some parents said, I have PhD degree. It doesn't matter, because the highest degree is college degree. So you just click here is fine. And this is an added one. It says one or both parents attended college, but neither parent completed college. So that's interesting. And that's a new selection that wasn't there before, but it should be easy if whether you attended a college or not, right? Just it's simple. And the last one is parent killed in line of duty. That's September 11. And then also if you're public job, like a police officer or firefighter, I mean, it's no, right? Like, and the high school completion status, what high school you need to put in the state and the city, and then put the high school name to do a search. You have to make sure that you do a search and then select. So sometimes people put full name and then the search become very, you can't miss anything. So you make sure like put just like if it's Acadia High School, you can just put Acadia and then we'll have everything that has Acadia will show up. So that's easy. Okay, now we are in the third section, and that's the financials section. It's very simple for student. Most of our students, senior students, never file the tax, independent tax. I mean, it's always filed with parents, right, as a dependent. So it's a no. And this is about earning income in foreign country in 2022. So no, very simple. And a student asset should be simple and straightforward because most students just have some money in the bank account. So that will be in the first box. And if they do happen to have the investment accounts, which is quite normal now. I see quite few seniors that have Robinhood in their app, and then they invest a couple $100. And then you can put it here. What is the balance, right? And the business, what is the balance? So you can put it here. So that's about it for student. You go into the last session, which is colleges. So you can pick 20 colleges and put in state and put in school name and do a search, and it will pop up. Then you just have to select. I'm not sure how many parents, from California. I know that for California, most students apply for all 9 UC schools, and I have a simple way to do it. And you can just type in UCLA, and then we'll bring UCLA, University of California, UCLA, and then you can select. And then you just go in here, school name, erase UCLA, put Berkeley, Irvine, Davis, Santa Barbara, boom, boom, boom. Like 1 minute, you can get all 9 schools in. It's quite simple. Yeah. So when you put in all 20 schools, and it will give you, hey, you already reached the maximum number of colleges, and make sure this is the school that you are most interested in. And it's okay if you haven't applied for that school, and it's okay. So once you make sure all the 20 schools, you can click proceed, move forward to the next page. And that's about it. If you look at the student session, the personal circumstances, demographics, financials, colleges, and now it's the signature page. So you just click the signature and boom, and it says, it gives you kind of like a summary, nothing else, just a summary. So it says you're almost there. So you finish half of your application form now. So your student section is completed. Now you need to go to the parent contributor, and it will tell you who is the parent contributor, and you already the invite has already sent it to him or her, and you can log out, student can log out, and that's done. Student part is done, okay? Now you do the same thing for the parent. So you go back to the login, the chat box, that link, and you click create a new form, and then you put in the parent sign in and a password, and it will pop up, confirm your information. So you just need to confirm the parent email, the mobile phone, address. If some parents don't put address, which is fine. So you just confirm it, and it will pop up this FAFSA form, and then it's asking you to choose whether you're a student or parent. So make sure you choose parent now, right? You're the second one. So choose parent, and you will go in once you go in, you kind of will get lost because you don't know where the form is. You need to go to my activity on the right-hand side, the drop-down box, right? And then you can click view my activity. And once you view your activity, you're going to see there is a pending invitation. You need to click that pending invitation, and it will bring you the invitation FAFSA form. And at this point, it's a lot easy. You just click accept invitation, then your student information will connect with what you're about to provide. So it's kind of provide the link, the student and the parent, because he or she invited you. So now you just accept the invitation, and then boom, you are in the form. So don't worry about it. You are in the right place. For any reason, we have parents unable to find the invitation or others, and that means something you did wrong or there is a bug. Majority of my parents can find the invitation. So you're going to the parent part of the FAFSA form now, right? And it's asking for parents' marital status. Married, or, there is a lot of selection here, so easy. And it's asking for the parent's state of legal resident. Same thing like the student, you just need to make sure, kind of like, it's not that important because I kind of personally felt this is what they evaluate if you're eligible for the in-state tuition or not. Because, there is a requirement for that, right? So just make sure that you put the correct year in it. And then this is a very important session. Students don't have this session. Basically, it's the federal benefits received. And it lists a lot of the benefits. Those are the federal benefits, public benefits. So you need to make sure if you read the question correctly, it's not asking for 2022, or, and it's asking either 2022 or 2023. It's kind of 2 years, right? It's asking the parent or anyone in their family receive those benefits. So you need to kind of, if you don't know what the benefit is, most likely you didn't receive it, right? It's not a rocket science. If you know what the most popular one is, the Medicaid, which is the free medical insurance card, right? For low income. So Medicaid is one, and then federal housing assistance. I think a majority of our parents don't have that. The other one is the free or reduced price lunch, school lunch. Like we have parents with a lot of children and their income is not that high, so they qualify for free lunch. And then the other one is like the nutrition assistance program. So just check, you can check more than one box, and regardless, how many you have, just check. If you don't have any of those, just put none of these apply, okay? Just be honest and then just do that. And then it will say the tax filing status. It's in the financial now. So the parent file the tax? Yes. And did the family size changed? So no, I mean, family size change means 2022 and 2024 today, did you have more family members or not? I mean, mostly it's probably stayed the same. So you just put no. And the 2022 tax return information. So in this information, not every parent get this, not every parent has this IRA rollover, this first question, because I went through a couple of the application forms. But if it happened to ask you, you need to provide that information. That's why you need to have your tax return with you. If you don't know how to answer this, it's very simple. There is an information circle here. Make sure that you click that to read. Like this one, I know it's on your tax return form 5A and 5B. So if there is any amount there, you need to put in. If no, then just 0, right? So did the parent receive the earned income credit? And the information box here, I think it's the 1040 line 27. So if you have it, you say yes. If you don't have it, no. And the amount of college grant scholarship, and also, you know, if you have any, most likely don't, because this is their first year. Foreign earned income exclusion, put in here. It's also, I think this one is in the Schedule 1. So if you have that, Schedule 1, 8 something. So make sure that you read the information box to make sure what tax return, which one that they're looking for. So just fill out the information here correctly. So the parent assets, I'm going to pause here for a bit because we're going to talk about the parent assets, because I always feel like this is the one that most parents have question about, because we are all managing our assets pretty well. And congratulations. We're going to sort this out. And just pause for 1 second. This year, the parent asset formatting is a little bit different. So you really need to make sure that you read the questions and that you open the information box. I'm opening it here for you, okay? So we read it together. So the first one is asking for 3 things: the cash, the checking account, and the saving account, all in the bank, right? So cash is whatever, you know, you have. I mean, it's kind of silly. Why would you, I mean, cash is cash, right? It's not. Anyway, so you add the balance together and you put it here, okay? You are the parent. Filling out this form doesn't mean you only put in the bank checking and saving account of your account. It has to be you and your spouse account. I know some parents have separate bank accounts, right? You have yours, your husband have his. When you fill this parent assets form, it's not just about you. If you're married, it's about you too. So make sure that you include the family, couple, parents, both of your bank checking saving account balance, okay? This is kind of interesting. If your balance is 10 million, I wish I have that problem. You only can put in 9 million, 9.999 million. So otherwise, it should allow you to put any number. Just round up the number, okay? No cents, just round up in dollars. So that's a very simple one. The second one is a little bit complicated. So many questions. I always get most questions here. And let's just take a quick look on the second page. It's so much. So real estate, do not include your primary home, the home that you live in. That's not your FAFSA asset. Yes, that's your asset, but that's not your FAFSA asset. So please do not include your primary home, okay? You need to include your rental home and your vacation home. And those homes only count for the net equity. So what is the net equity? It's the current market value minus the mortgage, minus whatever you still owe. So if the house is worth $1 million, you still owe $500,000 with Bank of America. That means your net equity is only $500,000, not 1 million, okay? The trust fund, and then the money market funds, mutual funds, the CD is here, okay? CD is here, not the first. The stocks, stock option, bonds, security, those are all investment, asset portfolio, tax shelter, accounts designed for the student's benefit. 529 is here, okay? The 529 plan balance is count as investments for parents. So you need to include that here. The only exclusion is if the 529 owner is not you, parents. It's the grandparents. I mean, that's not your asset, so you do not need to include. So the second box include all those information, okay? And the third one is the business and the investment farm. So it's business and the farm. If you don't have farm, then 0. And if you have business, then you need to include your net worth, the value of the business, okay? And then minus what money that you owed against them. So it's also the net value. A lot of parents said, how do I do that? You know, some parents, they put their investment home under their company's name, like because last year you do not need to report that. So some parents have moved their investment home or rental properties to the LLC. And this year, I'm so sorry, you have to report it because it's not stating anymore that if the business is less than 100 employees, you do not need to report. So any business you need to report. So that, whatever the assets in your business, it's definitely count as an asset. So you need to make sure that you include that in the third box. And very important, a lot of parents, even almost every year, all the time, I've been asked, what about retirement account, right? Retirement plan does not count for your assets. It's a retirement plan. I know the retirement plan has the investment tool vehicle in it, but it's not count as your assets when you fill out the FAFSA form. So retirement plan, 401k, pension funds, annuities, IRAs, and all these don't count as assets. So don't ask anymore if it's a retirement account, okay? Just make sure. All right. So now it's the time that you actually need to fill your spouse information, because all along it's just one person, right? The information over here, it allows you to put your spouse information. Once again, name should be matching your tax return. I'm just getting so nervous because we don't know if the IRS connection is correct. You know, it happened, the match. So just make sure that you do your best not to have any discrepancies and causing some kind of a problem later on. So make sure your first name is exactly what you have on your tax return, last name, date of birth, social security number, the email address. So you need to put the spouse information in. Basically, they need both parents' information unless you're divorced. Okay, for divorced family, you do not need to put both parents' information in. You only need to provide one. So make sure you do that. And now you come to the ending part, which is, hey, it's all ready now. Are you ready to submit your form, right? So you can sign and submit. You do not need to sign because your login and password is your signature. So you are done. So you do this and boom, and let you review all the information. And then you click continue and then you will just sign this. So that's it. It's done. Is that simple? I hope it's simple. And I don't know if any parent that's online right now was able to complete it while I'm going through this. I hope yes, maybe one or two exceptional parents. Anyway, my advice, my experience, I want parents to know when you do this form, really do it. Take one shot and do it. Don't break like, oh, let me do a little bit today. Let me do it tomorrow. I have parents do that and create problem for themselves, and it's not worth it. So if you start doing this, just do it like in one shot. Just have it done and the sign and the submit it. Just be done with it, right? Don't prolong this whole misery, right? Like a lot of parents, it's so crazy. I don't want to do this. Just do it. So at the end, you will get, hey, congratulations. The FAFSA form is now complete. So remember the word complete is different than processed, right? So it's only complete, and your completion date is 1/7/2024. I know that some school has a deadline of 1/15/2024. So once you complete it, you have that date, you're good. you know, you cannot control how long they process the form. So you do not need to be the part to worry about that, right? So just make sure that you complete and it shows the completion date and what happened next. Remember the flow chart. And now your student, not you. Parents always say, I didn't get anything. No, you don't get anything. It's your student will get a confirmation that FAFSA, Department of Education, has received complete FAFSA form for 2024-2025. So you are done, right? At this point, there is no place for you to download any form. So don't try, like me in the beginning, keep looking. Where can I download a form? No. If any parent find a way to download the form, please let me know. You are my hero. Anyway, so you're done, and congratulations, excellent. And this kind of concludes the form part of, this kind of concludes my presentation, and I just want to probably move on to the Q&A. Before I move on to the Q&A, I have partnered with HS2 for quite a few years now, and my tracking record with HS2 families are outstanding. And I work really well with the parents of HS2. And we do offer at any time the free 45 minutes consultation, the private consultation that I do online with my partner, Pam. We do the Zoom consultation online. And that first consultation is always free. And then after that, of course, it's a